Hi and welcome back. It has been a while and I'll try to make a few videos today. I just have been very busy and a lot of times just not in the mood to make any kind of video. Now, this month, or actually last month, I bought another SSD to play MacBook PS2 games on, of course. And the person where I bought it, just like the other one, he basically said, hey, here is the list of all the games. Here's the website and go check it out and tell me which games that you want on this SSD. So in total with these two SSDs, I have all the games as of right now that I can have. And this SSD isn't as impressive as the first one, but it does have some stellar games that I'm really looking forward to play. And wow, it's a big list. And we're started off with 10,000 Bullets, All-Star Fighting, Arc the Lead. I'm not entirely sure if I knew or did not knew. I know there's one Arc the Lead. There's an Arc the Lead collection. And this is like the last one. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think this ever came out in the West here, in Europe at least here. I've played this a little bit. It's pretty fun. It's a homebrew. Blood Rain 1 and 2. Buccaneer is a game that I wanted to play. It's like really simple, really generic sort of Devil May Cry-ish game, but it doesn't work. Not all games work on a MacBook, and this sadly does not work. I have actually played this, and this is like a mix between Senran Kagura and Dynasty Warriors. I never knew it existed, and it is pretty cool. It's cel-shaded graphics, and this is definitely a game that I will play a little bit more. Crime Life. Now, this is a game I've been playing a lot this week. I love it. It is so freaking cool. It's kind of like Dynasty Warriors with guns in space against a sort of alien infestation. And it's really cool. Dawn of Mana is a game that I really want to play. Demon Chaos. I never heard of this game ever. I also have a lot of shmups. Dragon Sister. This is a very expensive game here in Holland, at least here in Europe. Drakengard 2. I'm actually playing Drakengard 1. Eco Knight is probably a horror game. Yeah, it looks like a horror game. And this, I'm not entirely sure what this is. Probably there are a lot of Japanese games on this SSD, and some of them are translated, and some of them are not. Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3. Because I do want to play them one day. Forever Kingdom. So this is one of the games that has been English translated. I think I also got a lot of anime fighters, and there are a lot of anime fighters in Japan. The Growlancer, there are a few Growlancer games. What is this? Like a robot fighting game, okay. Legend of All, I've never heard of this game ever. It looks like an RPG. I actually have this game, I got it, but the uncut version in Europe, and it's not a good game. It's just a really weird, sort of more like a game that you want to try out, like how the hell did they make this back then? Of course, a game like this would never be made nowadays, but it's not a good game. Magna Carta is also an RPG that I really want to play. This is like an action game or something. It looks cool. Fighting game, yeah. So I just basically checked out the list online and saw some screenshots and thought, yeah, this looks good. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a game. It's not super expensive. It's about 50, 60 bucks. Well, it's about 50 bucks. You can get it for 50 bucks, maybe 60. I have played it a little bit. And of course, there is a sort of remastered version that came out. Metal Slug, Metal Arms is sort of like a Ratchet and Clank game. Now, this is another game. I don't understand why people hate on Metal Slug 3D. This is the first game I've actually played on this SSD, and I love it. I really like it. It's really cool, and I also really like that you can sort of upgrade your character. So you want to do the same missions over and over again to try and make your character stronger. I'm not entirely sure why people hate on this. pretty cool. I'm a Might and Magic, sort of the RPG style fan. My dad, of course, got all the Might and Magic games because he's super into Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy. And I remember playing Might and Magic 6, 7, and 8. I think this is 8, if I remember correctly. I never knew it was on PS2, and I don't know why it never came out in the West. Why? It's really weird. Sadly, though, it is in Japanese only, and it's a really sort of difficult game to get into. But, of course, with technology nowadays, with your phone, you can easily just translate everything. But I do want to try this game out. Motorstorm Arctic Edge. I like this game. I've actually played a few hours with this. I think this is a more like a Dynasty Warriors, but for kids. Nano Breaker. I remember this game. This is probably, shooter, shmup. A lot of shmups. Outrun. I'm not entirely sure what version is the better one. I think Coast to Coast. Pac-Man World 2 and 3. I was actually playing Pac-Man World 2, but I was at a point where the game is so difficult, but it's a lot of fun. It's a good game. I do want to beat it one day. Primal is another PS2 game that I remember playing as a kid. I was not very far. I think I was in the second world, where the water world, and I didn't really like it. But the first section was so freaking cool, and I especially remember sort of when I got the game and when the game came out, like its graphics were insane. Everybody was basically talking about Primal has such incredible graphics, and the gameplay was all right. It wasn't great or anything or bad or anything, but it's another game that I want to play one day. And Project, this somehow really reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. I don't know why. It reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. Raging Blast. I think that the other game was the same as this one. Red Ninja. I loved The Mark of Cry, and I don't know why Rise of the Kasai never came out here in Europe. It's a game that I have been wanting to play for so long, and now I finally can. Rogue Heart's Dungeon. So this is basically a roguelike 2D sort of Super Nintendo style RPG, I think. I don't think this is translated, but it's a dungeon crawler, right? You can play it easily, I think. And it's also, to me personally, quite funny that sometimes, the gaming industry, in my opinion, says something like, oh, roguelikes, it's a new genre. And I'm like, no. Even the Super Nintendo had roguelike RPGs. Of course, different than we have now, but it did exist. But I never heard of this game ever before, just like many PS2 games. A large amount of PS2 games were Japanese exclusives. I think this one is another one. It's the Sakura Tyson, but then in Western style. And Samurai, now this is one of the sort of most expensive PS2 game. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually a good game, but this is crazy expensive. So you had the Simple Series franchise. It has like 136 games on PS2, and those were all like small indie budget style games. But I never knew that Sega actually also had sort of this type of series where a few of their games, but these are 3D sort of remasters of older games. So for example, Golden Axe has been 3D remastered. I never knew it existed. Never heard of it until a few weeks back, where I saw a video about this game, and most people don't really like it, but I saw the gameplay. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I wanna play it. And then I sort of found out there are a lot more of these older games that back then they sort of remastered. So that was pretty cool. Like Alien Syndrome is like 3D and stuff. Haven't played Fantasy Star is also translated, but of course it's the first. I think it's the first Fantasy Star. I don't know what this is. This is probably a fighting game. Oh yeah, fighting game. This is Die Hard, but then a beat 'em up. It's strange. So this is another game that is extremely expensive, like 200-300 euros. Don't know why. It's just very expensive. I think it's a beat 'em up, or yeah, I think it's a beat 'em up, but it's crazy expensive. Shadow Hearts from the New World. It's another game that I want to play. I'm really excited for this one because I'm a big, of course, King's Field fan and From Software. And this is, if I remember correctly, this is like King's Field, but then with guns. And this is English translated. I think this is another anime fighting game. A lot of anime. Shining Wind. Another anime fighting game. I'm not entirely sure why this is on it though. But yeah. Also, so these are the simple series. I think this is also called Dragon Sister here in Europe. So I got the game. I think this is called, this is Dragon Sister. They didn't have, so the website didn't have all the games available on PS2. For example, the Simple series, they had like a few games where I know there are like 136 of them. So that list probably will get updated in the future, etc., etc. Soul Divide. I've actually played this, and I love the artistic design. I like the music. I like it's very rhythm and catchy, but it's extremely difficult to play. I'm just not a rhythm guy. I'm not someone who can dance or anything like that, or has a rhythm inside of him. And so I thought this was really difficult to play, but I love the music and its artistic design. And somehow, I'm not entirely sure, somehow Space Channel 5 is a game that is engraved in my mind for like the launch of the PS2. Because I saw advertisements and this in the stores. I saw Space Channel 5 a lot. I didn't knew there was a part 2, but here it is. SX Tricky, because I do play this game once in a while, so I wanted to have this on my SSD. State of Emergency 1 and 2, I have played this a little bit years and years and years ago. Never really got far into it, never really sat down and played it. Some people love it and some people freaking hate it. Steambot Chronicles, Sunsoft Collection, another weird-ass game from Japan, but it looked way too cool to not get. Sword of Destiny, Thunder Force. I think this is another. Oh, it actually looks like an action RPG. Oh. Virtua Fighter 4. I want to get more into Virtua Fighter, and to me, I like 4 the most. This one, I think it's like an. Oh, this is another game that I really want to play. And this is just for fun because I actually really love the sort of PS2 style Ys games where you have Ys, the Ark of Nephthysism, and they actually sort of, no, not specifically this one, but on PS2 they did sort of remakes of these older games, making them more modern. And I think I actually played this one on the Super Nintendo, and they made them like 3D. I think I've read that the games are not that great. Sadly, these are not English translated, but here it is. I got also this one. It reminds me a lot of that PS3 game. It also had this weird-ass name to it. And Zwei, I think Zwei is also a Ys-style dungeon crawler RPG, if I remember correct. I think there's another game from this franchise too. So this is the other SSD that I got. As you can see, it's what's this doing? It's not as impressive as the first one with loads of RPGs, but it is sort of all the other games that were on that list that I wanted to get. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely leave it in the comments below. Do you play still PS2 games? Do you play from the disc or with an SSD? Or maybe you play it at the best version possible on PC with an emulation? Leave it in the comments below.